The Christchurch City Council is closing its doors to the public more often to discuss an increasing number of secret agenda items, sparking calls for greater transparency. The Council's chief executive admits there's been an almost 50% increase in reports discussed with the public excluded between 2013 and 2017. That's raised the ire of some councillors, but the Mayor says it's just a natural rise. Here's our reporter, Logan Church.
I'll move the resolution to exclude the public. I'll put the motion. All those in favour say aye. Aye. Those opposed say no. That's carried. Thank you very much.
At some point in every Christchurch City Council meeting, the public and media are told to leave, and the meeting continues in secret, otherwise known as PX or public excluded. Most councillors RNZ spoke to say there could be a better way to do this.
There are a lot of items that when we're doing contracts we do need to do in public excluded, but not all of it.
It does feel like there's more than we'd like to see in PX, and that doesn't sit comfortably with me.
There are some reports that have time pressure and so need to be done. While I would like to see a lot of those reports split, I think that councillors have been under some pressure to make the decision.
They're legal issues, and we take legal advice. And as I've been indicating, I believe that legal advice has been more conservative.
Obviously, there's valid reasons for a number of those items being in PX, but I think it needs to change, and it does need to change sooner rather than later.
Are we going with a conservative view that says, well, no, it must be, therefore right? Take the path of least resistance and go for public excluded.
For a number of years, there's been a lot of talk about the council reducing the number of items in PX, reducing its secret meetings, and it's just not happened. It's always been talk, which is quite disappointing.
RNZ looked through every Christchurch Council agenda dating back to the start of 2013, when they began to be put online. In 2013, more than 90 agenda items, including reports, minutes and decisions, were discussed in the public excluded part of the meeting. By last year, that jumped to more than 220. But the Council's CEO, Carleen Edwards, says from 2015, items were recorded individually rather than grouped together, and that skewed the figures.
So actually the figures really for PX between 2013, 107, reports, going up to 153 in 2017.
It is still an almost 50% increase, but Mayor Leanne Dalzell says there's nothing sinister about that.
There are a greater number of decisions as we enter into commercial arrangements with people that are dealt with in PX, but they, and so that's natural, but it isn't the large number that it looks like if you just compare apples with oranges.
But I mean, even if we go with your figures, Leanne, or the council's figures rather, we're still seeing a 50% increase.
No, it's not a 50% increase.
107 to 153 is almost a 50% increase. That's what Carleen just told me before.
Well, look, I haven't got the figures immediately in front of me, but there is as I say, there is an increase, but it does depend on the timing of the papers that you're looking at.
Regardless of the percentages, does it really matter how much the council discusses behind closed doors? Theatre producer Michael Bell had the backing of most of Christchurch's performing arts community for a multi-use theatre complex in the new performing arts precinct. But the council decided, in PX, that it would instead go with another option.
When I first heard the news, I was quite devastated. I've, been pushing for reasons as to why a decision was made, and each reason I keep thinking, if the stakeholders were at the table at that meeting, we all could have answered and debated together.
Former Christchurch Mayor Gary Moore says PX decisions need to be more rigorously questioned.
I've looked at the legal opinions on a number of issues and thought that is so cautious, it's not funny. And when you're sitting at the council table, it's very hard. You've got this legal advice, and I think just as people should challenge whether something goes into public excluded or not, people should also be challenging whether the legal advice they're getting is right.
But Leanne Dalzell says changes have been made and are being made.
If you'd spoken to me or the chief executive before you spoke to the individual councillors, both of us would have told you that's exactly what we're organising to do. So we are going through every single PX paper. We are asking ourselves the question, does this have to be in PX?
Time will tell if this process will spark any changes in the Christchurch City Council chambers. In Christchurch for Checkpoint, Logan Church Chennai.